Michel Barnier was brought in with his legendary negotiation skills to try and bring together Parliament to be able to pass a budget. He failed, and question turns now to who could possibly succeed him. This, as investors are watching closely what's happening as well. I'm just looking at the latest commentary out of the Moody's ratings agency talking about the fall of the Barnier government deepening the country's political stalemate and also contributing to a higher cost of debt as well, saying that this complicates policymaking in France, perhaps an understatement for those who are involved in it, given how difficult things have been in recent months as well. I want to discuss this. I'm pleased to say we're joined this morning by the Socialist Party Senator Hélène Conway-Mouret, who represents French citizens living abroad and is a former minister under President François Hollande. Good morning, Senator. Thank you very much for being with us on Bloomberg Radio. How big a crisis is this? The President of the National Assembly, Yael Braun-Pivet, saying this morning this is a collective failure of politicians.
Yes, indeed it is. But I think, there's always a good side to any crisis. And this is a political crisis. It's not a financial one. We have a political crisis because we have, for the first time in the National Assembly, 3 blocks. And obviously, the fall of Michel Barnier was quite predictable, insofar as when 2 blocks come together, of course, they get a majority. And I think Michel Barnier raised a lot of hopes in that, indeed. He has these credentials of, being a good negotiator. But I think he failed in that one. He failed to be able to rally, the Democrats, if you like, within the Assembly and turn to his extreme right to try to find compromises. And of course, that brought his downfall. So it was all predictable. Now, what is unfortunate is that it's happening in the middle of the discussions that we are having on the budget.
Who could do a better job at this point? Would you want to see somebody from your party nominated as Prime Minister?
Well, it could be. I think we need somebody who is capable of getting compromises. I mean, this is what we're doing in the Senate all the time. I mean, this is a tradition that we have. And indeed, usually we get majority votes on most texts as we're capable of looking into what everybody wants, obviously kind of different vision of society and what may be a priority. But when you give everybody a little bit of what they want, it works. So I think we need somebody who is capable today of getting these compromises and certainly somebody who can form a government very, very quickly. There's no shutdown, as it happens in the United States with us, because we have a number of articles in our constitution that allow us to manage in a political crisis, which is one that we're having now. I think the last one was in 1962, so it's not very current in French politics to have this type of situation. But we just now need a government that will be holding together and maybe that will represent what the National Assembly is about now far more and just move away from the old style where we had majority and a minority. It was a binary system which existed in a lot of countries. I mean, Germany was the same. An image of what the United States have, with Republicans and Democrats. But now we have a lot of new parties, movements, and so on. And therefore, I think the political world needs to basically kind of work, on a new setup, which, it's kind of changing its culture. And that takes a little bit of time. And I think this crisis is pushing them to do it.
But your party is central to us. If we look at the makeup of the National Assembly, we know that the centrist parties won't work with the far right or the far left. So that leaves the Socialist Party in greater numbers since the elections last in the summer. What could convince the Socialist Party to separate themselves from the New Popular Front, from the hard left parties, and to join a sort of unity government of the centre? What would be the key policies that would win your support?
Well, the key policies are obviously kind of social. We have indicated that we have grave reservations as to what the Barnier government was presenting, while we realize that savings ought to be made because of the deficit today that France has. But I think what will, just to answer your question, would be a government where there is a representation of all those who are Democrats, who believe that we can move forward together. And having, discussions, I think the political leaders are going to meet with the president today. And I think if the president, in his address tonight on television at 8 p.m., has a name that, he has discussed with all the political leaders and which would be agreeable to all of them, I think we would be in a position to, participate in a government and indeed support and certainly vote the budget, which is the most important thing for 2025. And then
would that be the end, though, of the would that be the end of the New Popular Front alliance, though? Would your party separate themselves from their partners in that alliance?
Well, there are four parties in that alliance, and three of them have indicated that they want to move forward. They do not wish the president to resign. And that they are very willing to move forward. So, 3 out of 4. So maybe it will be a new alliance, if you like, with three parties rather than 4 of them.
2 names from your party who've been floated around as potential candidates: Ségolène Royal, former Environment Minister and presidential candidate; Bernard Cazeneuve, former Prime Minister. Would either of those be people you'd support?
Well, yes, of course, but there are others as well that have not been named by the media that will be potential candidates, but we will see. We will see. I mean, it's not, I think, we have learned from proposing a name that was refused by the president, and we're not going this time forward with names. Just see what the president has in mind, and then see if we can get an agreement on just not the prime minister, but a full government that will be, put in place, and we hope as quickly as possible.
Hélène Conway-Mouret, thank you so much for your time on the programme this morning. Socialist Party Senator and former Minister under President François Hollande. We appreciate your insights and contribution